We're going to begin today with Providence, Rhode Island, where police just released this new video of a person of interest. That's how they're describing the individual in the Brown University shooting. And they're calling on the community for help to identify this person. And it comes after late last night, authorities announced they would be releasing a man they had detained as a person of interest, saying the evidence no longer supported holding him. The mayor of Providence explaining the decision this morning.
What we're saying is that after a review of the evidence that was gathered, it was determined that the person of interest needed to be released. But until such time as we have an individual in custody who we're confident is responsible, that we're prepared to press charges and then prosecute, we're going to continue to leave all doors open until such time as that we're in a place where we feel confident that we've got the right person.
Despite the ongoing manhunt, Providence's mayor insisting the community is safe.
We know that this is likely to cause fresh anxiety for our community. And we want to reiterate what we said earlier, which remains true, which is ever since the initial call, now a day and a half ago, we have not received any credible or specific threats to the Providence community. And so the status of safety in our community remains unchanged. And we believe that you remain safe in our community.
Brown has canceled all remaining fall classes and final exams as the victims are being remembered. We are also seeing now video of students sheltering in place in the library as SWAT team members came to rescue them Saturday night.
Everybody's hands. Hands. Everybody get your hands. Hands. Just keep your hands up for us. Obviously there's something going on. We're here to help you. Just listen to what we have to say, okay? All right, breathe. Anybody hurt? No? All right, just listen to our commands. We will get you out of here safely.
You can certainly feel the tension there. NBC News correspondent Marquise Francis joins me now. And Marquise, give us a sense of what is the mood at Brown University today?
Yeah, Kelly, it's really a mixed bag with some people sad, others anxious, a lot of people scared and a lot of frustration. Just 24 hours ago, the campus community felt as though that authorities had the alleged shooter with that person of interest. But of course, today we know that person of interest is no longer a suspect and has been released. And I talked to a number of students throughout the afternoon and asked them how they were feeling and what the general vibe was for them and their friends. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, walking by these buildings. And I've had classrooms in that in Barrison Hallway 166 like 5 times. I'm hopeful that the security, the cameras, everything about like the campus will feel safer, look safer, like the technology will be better, just like on a small note. But yeah, it's a little scary, but I think like the community is really strong and people will, recover.
There's definitely a bit of frustration and a lot of fear. There's a ton of anxiety among all of us students, especially at the moment that it all happened. I mean, nobody really knew what was going on. And as students, we have our own chats. We all are talking about it all. But, there's really not a bunch of communication from anybody from the school, it feels like.
Yeah, and all of that being said, there still remains a shooter at large. With that being said, the campus is finding a way to come together. If you look right behind me, there is somewhat of a makeshift memorial with flowers being put right at the bed of the building in which this shooting occurred on Saturday. And so there's a mixed bag of people's feelings and folks trying to leave town as quickly as possible. But the feeling overall, Kelly, is really heavy here at Brown University in Providence. Kelly?
And you gave us a sampling of how students are feeling, and we heard the Providence mayor saying the community is safe despite the ongoing manhunt. He described there are no credible threats. Are you getting a broad sense that people feel safe? I was hearing some unease in those comments you shared with us.
Yeah, by and large, the people that I spoke to definitely are feeling a bit uneasy. They kind of are getting this stop and start kind of updates, right? On Saturday, first, there was news that a suspect was in custody. That wasn't true. And then later on, the following day on Sunday, there was a person of interest. But we learned overnight that person of interest was now released. And so a lot of people are feeling unease. I spoke to one student who lived in Hawaii, another student lived in D.C., and they were both moving their travel arrangements up that were supposed to be at the end of the week, trying to get out as soon as possible. And so as much as I think the mayor wants to put people at ease, the fact that there is still someone at large, someone who killed 2 individuals, injuring 9 others, I'm hearing nothing but unease.
Marquise, we hope you can stay warm there. I have a feeling you may be there a while pursuing all of these questions that are so important for the Brown community. Thank you so much. And we are joined now by Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Neronha, and maybe you can help shed some light on this. We understand that there's no basis for the person of interest who was detained remaining in custody. Can you also rule out that person as a suspect? Is that name really off the board?
Yeah, that name's off the board. You know, there was, how do I put this? There was a significant amount of evidence that caused us to focus a lot of our efforts in that space. Wasn't all of our efforts. We were doing other things at the same time. But as the forensic testing of the evidence, both at the scene of the crime and after we obtained search warrants for his hotel room and for other things, when that analysis, which had to be done, much of it out of state, to get it done quickly and reliably, by late last night, we knew that we needed to be headed in another direction, and that's why we had him released. I mean, from where I sat, Kelly, I was not ready to conclude, frankly, that we had the guy. You know, that's a very dangerous place to go in the sense of you are over-promising with the potential of under-delivering. I think it's why, you know, as prosecutors and police, we've been trying to choose our words carefully.
That is so critical at this point, describing the person as someone you wanted to talk to, but not going beyond that. And certainly once a name is out there, that can make things very complicated for someone who was simply questioned and you moved on. So when you are looking at this new piece of video that was presented to us, how is it that this piece of video is determined to be the next best way to get the community to help? Are you concerned that there isn't more video available?
Yeah, look, I think one of the challenges has been identifying video that can really help us identify the suspect. The reality was there weren't a lot of cameras in that part of the engineering building where this murder took place. I mean, as a parent of 2 Brown engineering graduates, I know that building really well. And, you know, that's an old part of what appears to be a modern building. You know, if you're looking at it from where that memorial that Marquise was showing us, from that point of view, it looks very modern and new, and that's true. But where the murders took place and the shootings took place is in a building that looks like frankly, looks like an old high school, and my sense is there aren't a lot of cameras in there. So what we're doing is canvassing again today places that weren't available to us over the weekend because there was no one home or the businesses were closed, and developing more video evidence. And as we find video evidence that we believe will advance the public's ability to help us identify and locate this suspect, you know, we're going to release it, and we hope to have the right person in custody with charges very, very soon.
And should I infer from your comments that there is not video from inside the building? There have been other incidents like this where you could actually see a suspect moving through and going into rooms where potential victims were. So no internal video, I'm guessing. That's
correct. If we had it, you'd have it. What we do have, Kelly, is, you know, video evidence in the newer part of the building of young people fleeing the incident, but they don't show the person we're looking for. You know, those are modern cameras that might be more helpful, but we just don't have this individual on those cameras. So we are going around, Providence Police Department, along with state police. You see there the FBI evidence response team on your footage you're showing, are going around not only looking for evidence that may have been discarded along the path of this individual that we're trying to identify, and detain and also pull out any additional video footage. And I will tell you, I've been a state or federal prosecutor for a long time. I remember a case, double homicide, where we solved that case from video we developed. Unfortunately, in that case, it took, a couple of weeks, and people were really on edge for those couple of weeks. But we got there in the end by pulling the threads that we needed to, and that's what's going on right now.
And have you been able to hold back any facts that you would use in the investigation to better determine a suspect is the real thing later on? Like, did the suspect say anything while this was unfolding? Did anyone overhear something? Not for you to share it with us now, but are there other things that you will be able to utilize if you can track the right person?
Yeah, for certain. There is evidence that we have, not words. I don't want to go there because someone will take from my answer that somehow something was said which shows a motive, which we don't, to my knowledge, we don't have at this point. But there is evidence left at every crime scene that can be used to confirm who committed the crime. And that will happen here once we have identified the person and can make those comparisons. It's what we did with the person we ruled out last night. I mean, that takes time, and that's why we detained him as a person of interest, not somebody in custody, ready to be charged, but someone for whom we had additional questions. And by law, we could detain that person for a period of time, and so that's exactly what we did.
Well, we appreciate your time, knowing you are going to be very busy with important work to do. Thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Attorney General. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.